Hello, former spouse, former wife.
Hello, former husband.
How does it make you feel saying that? How does it feel saying that?
I heard somebody else say that they didn't do X because it was negative. And I was like, yeah, it is negative, to be X. Nobody wants to be anybody's X.
Yeah, X'd out. Like a has been.
But I think former, dang, we should have had another phone to be able to, the actual definition.
Yeah, it'll be all right.
You know the actual definition?
Former, previous. And I mean it's
the facts. Like you were my previous husband.
Yeah, and you're my previous wife.
For 11 years, that's amazing. Like
yeah.
It's funny because I remember the energy behind our union. We wanted to save other marriages.
Mm-hmm.
And we were like, for real, like
yeah.
We were gonna show people how to be in their honeymoon stage, remember that?
Yes, that's right. Live in the honeymoon stage.
Live in the honeymoon stage. Stay in the honeymoon stage, you stay together forever. If you can keep that energy or that excitement of, we gotten together and now we're about to go off.
Yeah. To
the sunset.
And I think that came from a really good place. And the intention behind that was good. And it was very idealistic. Because as an expectation to live an entire life, in the same headspace and in the same emotional place as you are when you are physiologically doped up on brain chemicals,
right,
is an unrealistic expectation. However, there's an intentionality behind choosing to see your spouse the way that you see them when you are doped up on brain
exactly. And that's the thing. I remember we used to always say, the default is I choose to think the best of you.
Yes.
But you can only say that for so long, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, you can say that for as long as you are actually making that choice. Because life happens, things happen, real life situations happen, and as they do, it exposes you to various aspects of your spouse and of yourself that you may not have even realized were there. So now not only do you have to adjust and adapt to this new information that you're getting from your spouse, but then you also have to process that within yourself. How can I incorporate and assimilate this information that I'm getting about my spouse, and then at the same time choose and act as though my default setting toward them is still the same? And that's a hard pill to swallow. I'm sorry, it's difficult.
Yeah, no, and I think, I don't know, as you were talking, I'm thinking about, the default. I think that I had a conversation with somebody recently that it felt like most of the conversations ended up in right or wrong. And I know I'm kind of guilty of that. For most of our marriage, where it was like, I had to be right. Or it had to equal right in my book. Mm-hmm. Or it had to equal wrong in the book, and then, but then I got away from that. It was like understanding is now more important to be understood. Like, okay, if I am not 100% accurate about information or about something that I'm going about, and you got the answer, lovingly give it to me. Yeah. Patiently give it to me. Patiently work with me to get there. However, I don't know. We got a lot of editing to do because I lost my thoughts.
No, it's all right. It's all right. I mean, because just to follow up on that train of thinking, that train of thought. One, it isn't about right and wrong, and I think that there's a difference between being equitable and being just as opposed to being right and wrong. Because to say one is right means that they have a position of moral superiority over the other person, a moral high ground, and that the other person has, whether intentionally or unintentionally, done something that violates that moral, I guess, whether it's a moral code, ethical code, or just an assumptive thing that shouldn't be done, should or shouldn't be done. And what that does is it makes it a whole lot easier for assumptions to be made. Like, I feel this way, and I'm justified in feeling this way because I would not have done, or I would have done something differently if I was in your shoes. And therefore, because I would have done something differently if I was in your shoes, you should have also thought to do something differently because you are in your shoes as opposed to me being there.
But then we only control our own thoughts.
Exactly.
You're in your head and you think the way you do, and I'm in my head and I think the way I do. And I think when it comes to marriage and union, I think one of the amazing things that I take away from, or even look at, again, we accomplished a lot of things together, but the fact that we're still sitting here knowing that our marriage has been dissolved, we can still help people.
And then even with that, everything is a matter of perspective.
Like this here, people wouldn't be comfortable. Like, how are you so like?
You are literally sitting in the house that y'all lived in.
And we had baby number 5 in.
Yes. Actually, right on the other side of this door.
We had baby number 5.
And you're in that common space.
Go ahead.
But you're not at each other's throats. You mean you're divorced, and
I don't like that word neither.
Yeah.
Dissolved, I think, sounds more healthier than divorce.
I think that even if we are going to be more active in transforming the narrative in the culture of people whose relationships have transitioned, this is the relationship has transitioned.
Because it's everything is so concrete when it's written, and I think now it brings in the question. People are going to have more questions about the vows and that and the other, and I think that when I looked into our vows, I mean, we got several episodes for y'all to catch up on, so we're not going to give y'all all the juicy now. But when I think about our vows, we didn't really have a clue what we were signing up for. We just knew that we needed to repeat what we were confessing, and to mean it in a way that we would be committed to one another and that and the other. But I think about death to death do us part. However, our relationship is not dead.
Right.
The marriage, in terms of us being one union in the same household,
under our union as defined by external forces that look to try to structure and shape things for their benefit.
Control.
Control. From not from a religious perspective, but from a societal perspective.
You have to stay here, and you have to do this, and you have to be like this and that and the other. And it's really like, I never thought we would be here. I never would thought that our marriage would have been dissolved. I never thought that even if our marriage was dissolved that we would be here. I think I went to the extreme of crossing out all the words divorce in the dictionaries that we had at home after we got married, because I was super on, no, this is my person, I'm going to be with him forever. And we were even counting. We even counted years. Okay, we got married at this age. How old will we be when we turn 120 if we stay married? And how many years will we have been married by then? That's 80-some years. And it's like, we already went to the end of our relationship together before we even started to learn and actually. And I think it's important too to understand that. Oh, that's what I was going to say. Thank you for reminding me, mind. But about our parents, when you think about, you share intimacy with your spouse, but you share more intimacy with both of your parents. So even though
dig into that for me.
Well, I was inside my mother. I was deeper inside my mother than my father has ever been. So, and then sometimes she'd get on my damn nerves.
Yeah.
However, because of that relationship, my default was permanently set almost. Like, as much as I want to be like, whatever, that's my mother.
Yeah. So
you were raised with a certain mindset, with a certain vocabulary towards our mothers. And I think that people who take and walk that, it's hard to be like, oh, forever. Now, I have met people that's like, hey, I don't mess with my daddy or my mama for whatever reasons, whatever trauma issues or whatever. And I think about when it comes to a spouse, y'all taking that time to becoming one. I mean, 11 years, and we dated, a couple of years before we got married. So I think I've been rounding up to about 15 years of a relationship. And knowing my mother, 38, so she's been around for 38 years, and we had that relationship for 38 years, and you not even half of that time. Why would it be feasible, or why would somebody actually think that you can jump into a relationship with somebody that you've just been dating for a couple of years, or even if you've known them for longer, but now y'all share intimacy, y'all sharing all these brand new things, and it's supposed to just click, or it's supposed to just be so easy, and it's supposed to stay the same.
Therein is the whole romanticism of relationship.
What's that one thing that Flavor Flav used to say? Was it Flavor Flav or was it the other? Romantico?
Oh, yeah, very romantical.
Was Flavor Flav say that?
Flavor Flav said that.
Yeah.
But again, the romanticism of relationship, and from a religious perspective, because we both came into our marriage
in the church,
so we were definitely in the we were adhering to those guidelines and those ideologies, and so you hear about love being philos, which is friendship, eros, which is erotic love and whatnot, and agape, which is the God kind of love, the unconditional love, all of that stuff. But nothing in those do not always have a one-to-one correlation with romanticism. And I think that by embracing kind of a Disneyfication of what love is.
You using all these words, Wendell. Come on now.
Disney. Someday my prince will come.
Disneyfication, yeah.
Happily
and I can
ever
turn
after.
a frog into a prince.
Yes, and I will go and slay the dragon and kill the witch and wake up my princess with a kiss and
or
all
come
of that
on
stuff.
the night. Remember Jason was, or not Jason, but a person said something about you coming in, like you didn't come in on a white horse and rest.
Yeah. I'm not trying. I am not a knight.
Like our
in shining
engagement
armor.
was pretty cool and all that, especially what we didn't know at the time. We it was more so everything we did, and weddings including are all for show.
Yes.
It's not the
There's a
way
lot
that
of pretense
Americanized
in that.
right.
Man.
The Americanized
Damn.
way that we go about getting married is so commercial, is crazy. I think even we had said we had like this big budget because we're new in the thing, and all these shows are coming out, and I'm watching shows and you watch shows, and we're hearing people say how much they spend. So we're like, man. But then we finally was like, okay, let's set our budget. Even $10,000 for our wedding was in a year. Oh yeah, in a year.
Yeah, you get down.
We got two different cameras. Two different cameras.
But
okay.
yeah, $10,000 and we saved up for it. We paid for
it. By the time we said no, after we said I do, before we started our honeymoon, everybody that we owed was paid.
Yeah.
We paid $10,000, and that was it. Like less than a year, like 9 months.
Yeah. We didn't bring marriage debt into the wedding.
Well, right. We brought our individual debts.
Yes, but we didn't create a whole new debt
just to get married.
Yeah, just to get
even
married.
Though we really did, because we stole from our. Like we stole from our other stuff. It was like it was
a robbing Peter to pay Paul.
Right, and it's so sad because all of the 150 we had it like almost we were up to like 300 and people we were inviting, and I think we was like, okay, we got to cut that in half because most of those people aren't going to show.
Yep.
And some did, and I was still looking like y'all owe me $12.95. for that plate that you didn't
All
show
of
up for.
that.
I want that money. When I see
All
all those
that.
cards, those place cards, I'm like, these Negroes, no. But okay, so when we think about the time and attention, all of our focus and attention was moved from us becoming one and getting to know and pour into each other to now we got to pay for this.
To the show. To the
we got to put
presentation.
this show on and let people know we really serious now.
Yeah.
About you really serious.
I'm legal.
You're
I got
gonna have
a
a
ring. I got a
ring.
ring.
You're gonna have a dress. You're gonna have, the honeymoon. You're gonna have all these things to match. If you're really serious, and I wish we could have took the time to educate ourselves on the people we were involving in our life, because most of those people, when shit hit the fan, they were gone. And not a lot of them. Don't discredit.
Yes,
y'all were here for us.
Yeah. Those of you, you know who you are.
When we called you personally, we appreciate you. But then there was a lot of people that was like, I cannot believe it. Or y'all must have been faking. Like, no, we weren't faking it. We were creating our own happiness. We just actually started this journey with false pretenses.
Yeah.
And we tried to keep those up. And we still are who we are, which is why the friendship is still here. Yes. We started out as dope ass friends. Like, literally,
and that's
I'm calling this dude like, hey, Wendell, I got a ministry test, or I got a something weird. Like, I remember I didn't know what Yahweh meant. Remember?
Yeah.
I called him and said, hey, Wendell, I got this, I got something to do. And I don't know what this is. I don't know what certain things were because I was new to the church. So he was like my big brother walking me in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. and it changed.
Right, but
grew
we were,
and it evolved, but that's how it started.
We're just friends. We had each other's back. Like, I was literally trying to hook Wendell up. I said, Wendell, what you think about her? He was like, nah, man, nah. Like, what do you think about her?
Nah,
bro.
Nah, kid, nah.
And I was coming to him like, Wendell, this guy in church, said something to me. And, he's like, yeah. Listen, if he really about you, he'll do X, Y, and Z if he for real. And I'm like, all right, bet. So, but then it was almost like, and not everybody, because it was still people that were still single after we got married, but most of our friends were hooking up left and right. And like, we kind of was sitting around like, hey, you want to go salsa dancing?
Yeah.
You want to go play poker? Or we just
I like the salsa dance. Do you want to go salsa dance?
Want to go play poker?
Let's go play poker. Yeah.
And we just
like
kind
real
of
things.
build the friendship, and then it was just like,
I think something is there.
It was definitely something there.
And now, what steps do I take to transition this dynamic relationship from where we are to where it could go?
Hey, I got a pamphlet. You want to read this pamphlet? The church got a pamphlet to let you know how to do that.
Yes. Hey, how to court.
Because we realize y'all asses are so retarded that y'all know how to do it on your own.
Right.
And even though
you don't trust yourself to
we don't trust
be
you.
authentic. But you know what?
We were more authentic before we did the pamphlet.
We were more authentic before we got engaged and before we got
the pamphlet
married.
Though, because the pamphlet was still like there was a whole workbook of things that we had to do, and now that we're married or formers.
Yeah. Terminology, redefining this thing. And but I mean, that's actually another rabbit hole, but it's a beautiful thing that we are actually in the process of defining our own.
Right. And we want to help other people with this, because at the end of the day, we know many of people that separated and we had initially judged them.
Yes.
We initially,
and I'm so sorry for that.
We initially was like, well, what had to happen? They was faking it. I even heard somebody say, so you must have been faking it that whole time. Actually, one of the parties you're going to see today, y'all must have been faking it. And I was like, no. Like, if we were angry, we were angry. If we weren't happy, we weren't happy. If we were very happy, we were very happy. And I remember telling him for years, we used to, and I know we got to wrap this up. We used to hear this thing that say, hey, there's an 80% of people that
the bell curve.
Okay, yeah. What's it? 10% that absolutely get married and just get along, like they are just
made for each other. Two peas in a pod.
Yes, amazing. 10% that should have never, ever
got married.
Ever.
Like, why did I get married? No, why did you think that you could be married? Just
Damn, Wendell. So yeah, that's 10% of y'all out there that do exist like that, and then there's 80%.
That's in the middle.
It's in the middle.
The bell curve, where the work has to be done. And sometimes it is very easy to default to thinking that you're in that first 10%. Like, that's where the idealism and the romanticism and the Disneyfication lives. You know,
I thought we were there, literally. Like, and I think, and I'm not, there's no blaming. We both played a major part in
shame.
Our separation.
No victims, no villains.
But I know that my former dealt with expressing himself.
Yes, I did. I was of the mindset of go along to get along, seek to understand before seeking to be understood, picking your spots. There were all kinds of cliches that went into thinking. Okay, yeah, all kinds of cliches that on some level fashioned how I thought I needed to relate to my spouse differently from how I related to my friend. And if I would have related to my spouse the same way that I related to my friend, then I probably would not have had half or even a smaller fraction of the issues that I had personally adjusting in being a spouse. Because spouse was just, here is friend, here is spouse.
I think they kind of closer to that. I'm joking.
This is just it's a title.
It's just a title
that's built on
everything
top of the foundation of the friend. So why do I have to stop relating to my friend because I'm trying to relate to her with this title of spouse? It's because I'm being indoctrinated into a mode of thinking that has spouse on some higher level, but then also more fragile than my friend.
Right, and then
like, how am I going to break my spouse? I'm not trying to break my spouse. I'm not trying to break my friend either. I'm just trying to be me. I'm trying to show up as me in this dynamic. And, you know, it can be very, very confusing. And I shared this with you, that disappointment lives in the space between capacity and expectation.
Yep.
And we set these expectations up here, not even knowing what our capacity is to meet those expectations. And then through trial and error and life experience, we discover that our capacity is here.
Right.
But we've set the expectation up here. So now all of this gap, that's where your miscommunication, your disappointment, the hurt, the jealousy,
lives all in here,
lives
security, all of that.
And the bad thing about it is you don't even know how to address it because one of these has to change in order to get here.
And it's really about, like, for me, I was just going to mention before we wrap it up, is the control. Like, I think one of the things that I can leave with is that you help me release, not just for you, but people in general, like, not trying to control people. And I remember you was just like, I'm not trying to control you. Like, if you want to be here, you're here. And I'm like, I understand that, but I'm your wife and you my husband. So it's not a matter of me wanting to be here. I have to be here because I'm your wife. And you got to be here because you're my husband. And you need to be here in this type of way. You understand? And so it was like, I had that energy, but I think tapping back into me and how I show up in my friendships help me understand, hey, I don't want to control anyone.
Yes.
And then I think on the next one, we're going to go ahead and wrap this up, but I think on the next one we can talk about what happened before we got married that probably wouldn't even have us sitting here trying to help y'all out. But I just our goal is, we said it in the beginning almost 15 years ago or close to 11 years ago, that, or 12 years ago now, because our anniversary is coming up in April.
Yeah.
But
it'll still be an anniversary.
Right. April 25th. Anyway, but you shared with me, you really helped me not want to control people and really be about the things that I can control, which is mainly me.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's myself, my actions, my thought, my energy, and the space I hold for people. Like I was holding certain energies, expecting people to think about me a certain way or to treat me a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that once we went through what we went through and how we went through what we went through, it was really putting me in a place of, I don't want nobody to feel like they have to do something for me because of manipulation or circumstances or whatever. More so they like, oh my goodness, she needs this done. Let me go do this for her. And I felt like the things that I was doing, whether it was with children or with you or even with other people, was like a sense of trying to control all these bodies.
Mm-hmm.
And I had the least amount of control over my own self because I would lose it or whatever. So I think that was one of the things that I definitely highly appreciate from our relationship, is that now I'm able to, you know, read certain things or hear certain things or see certain things and be like, I'm not trying to control, I'm not trying to whatever for these people. So this is it's a good space and place to be in, and we hope that our truth telling and us bearing witness of our union and our disillusion and our continued and our transition. Sorry,
yes.
Transition. I'm sorry. We say we're gonna say that. Yes, transition.
Yep.
Our
relationship transition,
and then even our continued relationship. We co-parent. You know, we all have 4 children together, and then there's Tyreek, which is number 5. He's a grown up now, but we have 4 minor children that we are endeavoring to co-parent and also aid them through our transition, because they're also going through a transition. So our goal is to impact people, families, whether you're at the stage that we're at now or you're the stage before we actually made the final decision, or you're in another place. We hope that our content and our truth will just help you understand your situation just a little bit more, your spouse just a little bit more, so that you can have peace and happiness. Because right now it's like every day is not peaceful. Every day is not, every moment is not peaceful, and every moment is not bring happiness. But I find it more and more that it's easier.
Yeah.
Again, because you're the center. So.
Yeah.
Anything else you wanna?
Yeah. Just said, for me, the vital lesson that I've learned and that I am endeavoring to incorporate into my life as a new default setting is, in all relationships, is to have a certain level of acceptance and appreciation for the moment, for who you are right now. Because who you were 10 years ago is not who you are right now. And I can either choose to attempt to hold you to who you were or accept you for who you are.
Right. Because
we all are evolving. You're not the same person that you were 10 minutes ago, 10 hours ago, 10 days ago. Every moment in life yields an experience that helps to shape you and mold you in some way, whether large or small. So if I truly value who you are in my life, then I have to value the you that you show up as, not the you that you showed up as.
And that's key, yo. I mean, I'm glad we're getting all this content in, because now from one video we got at least 4 or 5 other key points that we can help people with, of things that we've experienced. And just, you know, even though we only have the amount of years that we have in the game, we helped other people since then. Like, we've helped other marriages.
And it's our desire to help more.
Yeah,
as we're helping other people, we're helping ourselves.
So I'm thinking that I'm excited.
Yeah,
I'm excited that we're doing this.
Doing this again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And hopefully you all get something out of it.
Yeah.
Pretty soon we'll be able to say subscribe.
Yeah.
Comment.
Yeah, like,
whatever,
comment, subscribe, and all of that other stuff.
Or what's that Lester Holt? What did he say? If you're something over here and something down here.
Yeah, no, but yeah, when we do post this, let us know what you think.
Yeah.
Give us
and
your
if
thoughts.
It helped you or brought you some peace or insight or anything, please share, because we all got each other's pieces and we all out there to win. Like, one of the things, can you share with the audience what you said?
Oh, yes. I want you to win. I've always wanted you to win. And your winning is not contingent upon my participation. So,
even though you are still participating.
even though I am participating, but I am not the crux of your success. But I would like to be a participant in your success, even if it is as a cheerleader,
Hey,
to
now.
root you on,
I appreciate that.
and because you deserve it. You deserve it.
I appreciate that. And the same for him. Like, I think when we started this journey, and that'll be in another video, but I'm pulling for this guy.
I'm pulling for this girl. This woman.
All right. So,
all right, everybody.
Y'all be blessed. We love y'all. We're going to see
right.
you on the next one.
We're going to see you in the next one.
Peace. Bye-bye. You want to say your one thing?
Oh, yeah. Be good to each other. And most importantly, be good to yourself. Peace.